Hello and welcome to the Bible with Briscoe 2021. I'm your messenger of the Word of God, Shenandoah Briscoe, and today we're going to be covering Leviticus 6 through 7 and Matthew 25, 1 through 30. Father, I just ask for clarity of voice and articulation, so that the reading of your Word will be a blessing to you and for all of those who have tuned in from all around the world. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. And they all said, Amen. Leviticus 6. The Lord said to Moses, If anyone sins and is unfaithful to the Lord by deceiving a neighbor about something entrusted to them, or left in their care, or about something stolen, or if they cheat their neighbor, or if they find lost property and lie about it, or if they swear falsely about any such sin that people may commit, when they sin in any of these ways and realize their guilt, they must return what they have stolen or taken by extortion, or what was entrusted to them, or the lost property they found, or whatever it was they swore falsely about. They must make a restitution in full, added a fifth of the value to it, and give it to the owner of on that day that they present their guilt offering. And as a penalty, they must bring to the priest, that is the Lord, their guilt offering, a ram from the flock, one without defect and of proper value. In this way, the priest will make atonement for them before the Lord, and they will be forgiven for any of the things they did that made them guilty. The burnt offering. The Lord said to Moses, Give Aaron and his sons this command. These are the regulations for the burnt offering. The burnt offering is to remain on the altar hearth throughout the night till morning, and the fire must be kept burning on the altar. The priest shall then put on his linen cloth with linen undergarments next to his body, and shall remove the ashes of the burnt offering that the fire has consumed on the altar, and place them beside the altar. Then he is to take off these clothes and put on other clothes, and carry the ashes outside the camp to a place that is ceremonially clean. The fire on the altar must be kept burning, and it must not go out. Every morning the priest is to add firewood and arrange the burnt offerings on the fire, and burn the fat of the fellowship offerings on it. The fire must be kept burning on the altar continuously. It must not go out. The grain offering. These are the regulations for the grain offerings. Aaron's sons are to bring it before the Lord, in front of the altar. The priest is to take a handful of the finest flour and some olive oil, together with the incense, on the grain offering, and burn the memorial portion on the altar as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. Aaron and his sons shall eat the rest of it, but it is to be eaten without yeast in the sanctuary area. They are not to eat it in the courtyard of the tent of meeting. It must not be baked with yeast. I have given it as their share of the food offerings presented to me. Like the sin offering and the guilt offerings, it is most holy. Any male descendant of Aaron may eat of it for all generations to come. It is his perpetual share of the food offerings presented to the Lord. Whatever touches them will become holy. The Lord also said to Moses, This is the offering Aaron and his sons are to bring to the Lord on the day he is anointed. A tenth of an ephah of the finest flour as a regular grain offering, half of an half of it in the morning and half in the evening. It must be prepared with oil on a griddle. Bring it well mixed, and present the grain offering broken in pieces as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. The son who is to succeed him as anointed priest shall prepare it in the Lord's prayer, perpetual share, and is to be burned completely. Every grain offering of a priest shall be burned completely. It must not be eaten. The sin offering. The Lord said to Moses, "Say to Aaron and his sons, these are the regulations of the sin offering. The sin offering is to be slaughtered before the Lord in the place the burnt offerings is slaughtered. It is most holy. The priest who offers it shall eat it. It is to be eaten in the sanctuary area, in the courtyard of the tent of meeting. Whatever touches any of the flesh will become holy, and if any of the blood is splattered on a garment, you must wash it in the sanctuary area. The clay pot with the meat is cooked in must be broken, but if it is cooked in a bronze pot, the pot is to be scoured and rinsed with water. Any male in a priest's family may eat of it. It is most holy. But any sin offering whose blood is brought into the tent of meeting to make atonement in the holy place must not be eaten. It must be burnt up. The guilt offering. Leviticus 7. These are the regulations for the guilt offering, which is most holy. The guilt offering is to be slaughtered in the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered, and its blood is to be splashed against the sides of the altar. All its fat shall be offered, that the fat tail and the fat of the covers and the internal organs, both kidneys with the fat on them near the loins, and the long lobe of the liver, which is to be removed with the kidneys. The priest shall burn them on the altar as a food offering presented to the Lord. It is a guilt offering. Any male in the priest's family may eat of it, but it must be eaten in the sanctuary area. It is most holy. The same law applies to both the sin offering and the guilt offering. They belong to the priests who make the atonement with them. The priest who offers a burnt offering for anyone may keep its hide for himself. Every grain offering baked in an oven or cooked in a pan or on a griddle belongs to the priest who offers it, and every grain offering, whether mixed with olive oil or dry, belongs equally to all the sons of Aaron. The fellowship offerings. These are the regulations for the fellowship offerings, and anyone may present to the Lord. If they offer it as an expression of thankfulness, then along with this thank offering, they are to offer thick loaves made without yeast and with olive oil mixed in, thin loaves made without yeast and brushed with olive oil, and thick loaves of the finest flour well kneaded and with olive oil mixed in. Along with their fellowship offering of thanksgiving, they are to present an offering with thick loaves of bread made with yeast. They are to bring one of each kind of an offering and contribution to the Lord. It belongs to the priest who splashes the blood of the fellowship offering against the altar. The meat of the fellowship offering of thanksgiving must be eaten on that day. It is offered. They must leave none of it till morning. If, however, their offer is the result of a vow or is a free will offering, the sacrifice shall be eaten on the day they offer it, but anything left over may be eaten on the next day. Any meat on the sacrifice left over till the third day must be burned up. If the meat of the fellowship offering is eaten on the third day, the one who offered it will not be accepted. It will not be reckoned to their credit, for it has become impure, and the person who eats any of it will be held responsible. Meat that touches anything ceremonially unclean must not be eaten. It must be burned up. As for other meats, anyone ceremonially clean may eat it. But if anyone who is unclean eats any meat of the fellowship offering belonging to the Lord, they must be cut off from their people. Anyone who touches something unclean, whether human uncleanliness or unclean animal, or any unclean creature that crawls along the ground, and then eats any of the meat of the fellowship offering, belongs to the Lord, and it must be cut off from the people. Eating fat and blood is forbidden. The Lord said to Moses, "Say to the Israelites, do not eat any of the fat of cattle, sheep, or goats. The fat of an animal found dead or torn by wild animals may be used for any other purpose, but you must not eat it. Anyone who eats the fat of an animal from which a food offering may be presented to the Lord must be cut off from their people. And wherever you live, you must not eat the blood of any bird or animal. Anyone who eats blood must be cut off from their people." The priest's share. The Lord said to Moses, "Say to the Israelites, anyone who brings a fellowship offering to the Lord is to bring part of it as their sacrifice to the Lord. With their own hands they are to present the food offerings to the Lord, and they are to bring the fat together with the breast, and wave the breast before the Lord as a wave offering. The priest shall burn the fat on the altar, but the breast belongs to Aaron and his sons. You are to give the right thigh of your fellowship offering to the priests as a contribution. The sons of Aaron who offers the blood and the fat of the fellowship offerings shall have the right thigh as his share. From the fellowship offering of the Israelites I have taken the breasts that is waved and the thigh that is presented, and have given them to Aaron the priest and his sons as their perpetual share from the Israelites. This is the portion of the food offering presented to the Lord that were allotted to Aaron and his sons on the day they were presented to serve the Lord as priests. On the day they were anointed, the Lord commanded that the Israelites give this to them as their perpetual share for the generations to come. These, then, are the regulations for the burnt offerings, the grain offerings, the sin offerings, the guilt offerings, and the ordination offering, and the fellowship offering, which the Lord gave Moses at Mount Sinai in the desert of Sinai. On the day he commanded the Israelites to bring their offerings to the Lord. And that was Leviticus 6 through 7, and now we will turn to Matthew 25, and we will be reading 1 through 30. The parable of the 10 virgins. Matthew 25. At that time the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps and did not take any oil with them. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and then they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight the cry rang out, "Here is the bridegroom, come out to meet him." Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish ones said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, our lamps are going out." "No," they replied, there may not be enough for both us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some of it for yourselves." But while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived, and the virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later, the others also came, and "Lord, Lord," they cried, "open the door for us." But he replied, "Truly I tell you, I don't know you. Therefore keep watch, because you may not know the day or the hour." The parable of the bags of gold. Again, it would be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted them with his wealth. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5, and "Master," he said, "you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more." Then his master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." The man with 2 bags of gold also came. "Master," he said, "you entrusted me with the 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more." The master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. "Master," he said, "I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting when you have not sown, and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you." His master replied, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bank, so that when I return I have at least it back in interest. So take the bag of gold from him. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them, and thrown that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Okay, so that was Matthew 25, 1 through 30, which concludes the Bible Briscoe for today. And so therefore, let's see, tomorrow we will be reading Leviticus 8 through 10, and Matthew 25, 31 through 46. Father, I just thank you for your word, because without your word I would not be able to be a blessing to you of your word. So in Jesus' mighty name I say thank you and bless you and praise you. Amen and goodbye. All right, thank you folks for tuning into the Bible with Briscoe 2021. I have enjoyed being your messenger of the Word of God, Shenandoah Briscoe. Please come back and see us tomorrow because, well, you know, God loves you and so do I. So we'll be here, and I hope that you are too.